This is a presentation of the application of human systems content to film or TV series. Hello everyone, my name is Michael Knox and this is my last semester before my MAIS practicum. I am a double major of sociology and history from the University of Texas. I am also a veteran of 3 wars, deployed 8 times, with 5 of those being combat tours. I have spent 35 years in the military, half in the Marine Corps, half in the Army. I currently do not have a civilian job, but I plan to work as a veterans counselor at the Veterans Service Center currently being built in San Antonio by San Antonio College. I enjoy riding my bike, going to movies, and exercising. I am single with no children and live in Northwest Austin. The film I selected for this assignment was Trading Places. I selected it because it is not only hilariously funny and entertaining, but also relevant to our interest in complex adaptive systems and complex responsive processes. I plan on applying the concepts we learned from class by connecting the stock market scene and local interactions of the main characters to areas of simple rules, self organization, and emergence. By the way, I saw this movie when it came out in 1983, so bite your tongue. During this presentation, I will summarize the film. I plan on relating the film to complex adaptive systems and also complex responsive processes. And in conclusion, I will give my opinion and any additional thoughts about the film. So, let's get started. The film starts with brothers Randolph and Mortimer Duke, played by Ralph Bellamy and Don Amici. They own a successful commodities brokerage in Philadelphia. They witness an encounter between their managing director, Louis Winthorpe III, played by Dan Aykroyd, and street hustler Billy Ray Valentine, played by Eddie Murphy. Holding opposing views on the issue of nature versus nurture, the Dukes make a wager of $1 and agree to conduct an experiment switching the lives of Winthorpe and Valentine and observing the results. Winthorpe is publicly framed as a thief and drug dealer by Clarence Beeks, played by Paul Gleason, who works for a security company hired by the Dukes. Winthorpe is fired from Duke and Duke and vilified by his former friends. He befriends prostitute Ophelia, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, who agrees to help him in exchange for a financial reward once he is exonerated. Meanwhile, the Dukes bail Valentine out of jail and install him in Winthorpe's former job. Valentine learns the business quickly and begins to act well-mannered. During the firm's Christmas party, Winthorpe is caught planting drugs in Valentine's desk in a desperate attempt to get his job back. The Dukes discuss their experiment in the men's bathroom and settle their wager of the usual amount, $1. Valentine overhears the conversation and seeks out Winthorpe. Winthorpe attempts suicide by ODing on pills. The group of Valentine, Ophelia, and Coleman, Winthorpe's butler, played by Denham Elliott, nurse him back to health and inform him of the Duke's experiment. On television, they learn that Mr. Beeks is transporting a secret USDA report on orange crop forecasts. Winthorpe and Valentine realize that the Dukes plan to obtain the report to corner the market on frozen concentrated orange juice. On New Year's Eve, the group of 4 board Beeks's Philadelphia-bound train, intending to switch his report with a fake report. Beeks uncovers their scheme and attempts to kill them, but he is knocked unconscious by a gorilla who's being transported on the train. The group of 4 disguise Beeks with a gorilla costume and lock him up with the real gorilla. The fake report, which says the year's orange crop will be low, is delivered to the Dukes. Valentine and Winthorpe travel to New York to carry out their part of the plan. On the commodities trading floor, the Dukes commit all their holdings to buying frozen concentrated orange juice futures. Other traders follow their lead, inflating the price. Meanwhile, Valentine and Winthorpe sell futures heavily at that inflated price. Following the broadcast of the actual crop report, the price of orange juice futures plummets. Valentine and Winthrop closed their futures position, turning a large profit. The Dukes failed to meet margin call and are left owing $394 million. Valentine and Winthrop explained to the Dukes that they had made a wager on whether they could simultaneously get rich while making the Dukes poor. Valentine collects $1 from Winthrop while Randolph collapses, holding his chest as Mortimer shouts angrily at his brother about their failed plan. The now wealthy group vacation on a tropical beach resort. The stock market is a complex adaptive system, and the system agents in the film are the commodities brokers, the Dukes in their brokerage house, and the traders, Valentine and Winthrop, all locally interacting with each other. System agents Valentine and Winthrop follow simple rules like never show any signs of weakness, buy low, sell high, kill or be killed, and make no friends in the pits and take no prisoners. As Stacy and Miles points out in chapter 10, self-organization is agents interacting locally according to their own principles in the absence of an overall blueprint for the system they form. A couple of examples of self-organization is when Valentine informs Winthrop of the Duke's plan to ruin his life. Upon further discussion, the butler, the prostitute, Valentine, and Winthrop all self-organized to seek revenge upon the Dukes by stealing the crop report they acquired from Mr. Beeks. Another example of self-organization is when other stock traders sense that the Dukes are attempting to corner the market on frozen concentrated orange juice. They join by inflating the stock price without waiting for the official crop report to be released. This is an example of herd mentality. This action of driving up the stock price created a positive feedback loop. When the actual crop report reveals that the winter had a negligible effect on crops, the stock price plummeted, creating a negative feedback loop. The volatility in the market is the result of agents self-organizing to manipulate the system. As Martin DeLeon posted in the forum of Chapter 12, emergence and self-organization begs the question of how one gets something out of nothing. It is a system located between order and chaos, or at the edge of chaos, that allows it to emerge into different patterns through local interaction and positive feedback loops. This allows the creation of new patterns of order. So what emerges does so precisely because of what all involved do and do not do. Other examples of emergence in the film is Valentine and Winthrop's trading of status, intention by the Dukes. As Stacy and Miles points out in chapter 12, intention and emergence are thus in play at the same time without either being opposed by or subordinated to the other. Another example of emergence is the intention of Valentine and Winthrop to ruin the Dukes and get rich in the process. There are many examples of complex responsive processes in this film. The stock market is like a social object where people are interacting locally and construct the future that is known and unknown. The Dukes interact to construct the reversal of fortune for Valentine and Winthrop. Conversely, Valentine's and Winthrop's joint action results in knowledge creation in the unknown future of the Dukes. According to Stacy and Miles in Chapter 10, agents impose constricting constraints on each other, and it is these that provide control to the movement of the system. Some examples of power relations is when Valentine is arrested for attempted robbery and jailed, when Winthrop is falsely accused of theft and arrested and jailed, and when the group is held at gunpoint by Mr. Beeks in the back of the train. The PowerPoint summary of Chapter 15 by John Cunningham states that inclusion within a group can give you the feeling of being part of the whole and even euphoric, whereas exclusion does the opposite. We see inclusion when Valentine is sitting at a restaurant with powerful financial agents. When he speaks, people stop and listen. Exclusion is demonstrated when Winthorpe got arrested. He was ostracized from his social group, his work, and his bank. He dealt with this exclusion by lashing out at Valentine to prove his innocence. Due to high anxiety, abandonment, and rejection, he ultimately attempts to take his own life. The conversations of Valentine, Winthorpe, the butler, and the prostitute lead to an environment of learning. As Stacy and Miles points out, through local interactions, learning reproduces and transforms the social structure in which it takes place and the identities of those who participate. Through shared learning, this group demonstrates community and change of their condition. Some examples of organizational knowledge shared between people in the organization is when the Dukes try and explain to Valentine what it is they do for a living. They sit him down and use visual aids like gold and orange juice. Next, Winthorpe explains the simple rules of stock trading to Valentine right before they plan to corner the market on frozen concentrated orange juice. The local interaction between the Dukes facilitated change by switching the roles of Valentine and Winthorpe from rich to poor and poor to rich. They also attempted to facilitate change by cornering the market in frozen concentrated orange juice. It was Valentine and Winthorpe's group that inhibited this change. In the process, it was the Dukes who switched roles with Valentine and Winthorpe. In the end, with the assistance of organizational insider knowledge, Valentine and Winthorpe's group was able to evolve and thrive within the organization because they were able to adapt to their changing environment. The Duke's business was unable to adapt to their changing environment, and this led to their ruin and ultimate extinction. In my opinion, the stock market was a major character in this film and played an important role in understanding how complex adaptive systems consisted of many agents like Valentine, Winthorpe, and the Dukes that followed simple rules like buy low, sell high, interacting with each other in a leaderless and dynamic environment like the stock market. They self-organized to seek revenge upon the Dukes by stealing the crop report they acquired from Mr. Beeks. Yet, complex adaptive systems are difficult to predict, as we saw the market driven to the edge of chaos that allowed it to emerge into a different pattern through local interaction and positive feedback loops. This is a feel-good movie, able to boost the spirits of the most depressed. It is David versus Goliath that comes with many laughs and a few life lessons like never give up, pick good friends, and have a good plan. Two big thumbs up. I would like to thank John Cunningham, Martin DeLeon, and Stacy Niles as my references. Woohoo! That does it for me, folks. Thanks for listening. Please go to the forum post to post your responses. Have a nice day. Goodbye.